a lot of history. To go. Come from here. He's had the banners wrapped all around.
Yeah, and how many of those do you have up there?
I think I counted 7, but I think there's some left off. So probably maybe about 9 or at least 10. I feel like at least 10. Yeah, I didn't count this one right here. 8. That's like a combination right here. We're on Coach Darren's team. I was gonna ask. I believe we had one when we was with the Cavs or the Hampton. Yeah, I didn't even count this one. Yeah, I didn't even look. Yeah, this was the Hampton was a special one because that was right before going into high school. So that was just like the last one on like just when basketball was just about having fun. It wasn't a business. That was a real special one, the Hampton 2000 winner. Also remembering Deion Coleman's sons, Marquise and Michael, coming to watch them play. Speezy Clark. So it was always good to come back and see the younger generation come up through here. Well, I mean, honestly, it was just through my parents. You know, mom and dad just pushed me to just place me in the sports at a young age, and I didn't necessarily know what I was getting into, but I just knew it was activities, meeting new people, new friends, and it was just a fun activity for me to do outside of school. And what's crazy is one of my teammates from the '98 team, Marquise Dubose. I met him in maybe like preschool, maybe like 3 or 4 years before I even came to Rancho. And then we meet again here. I'll change schools. I went to Baldwin Hills Elementary. Then I meet him randomly. I'm playing against him here at Rancho. So I've known him all my life. And then just little relationships like that I started from a young age. I remember playing biddy ball with you, Coach Kirk, and Coach Harold. You guys would line us up on the red line. Each person got to wait one at a time to shoot the layup just to start the games off. Honestly, I used to be like, man, I felt like this is so boring. Like we just play 5-on-5 and just let us run up and down. And one thing that I thought at a young age was, man, I just can't wait till I get of age where they take the little hoop off the big hoop and I could play with my brother, my older brother, and other guys and play minors, majors, and juniors, just so I could possibly just be one of the big kids. And yeah, just the competition at a young age. The stands used to be packed, and I didn't really understand it at the time, but it was just families just coming together to see the kids play, and it's just amazing. It was just an amazing time, really. And then I honestly just like the group of kids that we had at the time, I just felt like everybody was going to go on and do bigger and better things, and I think that just drove me at a young age to always want to win, be competitive, respect your opponent. But just playing here, it all started for me to just have that drive to want to be the best and the best at what I want to do. Well, honestly, growing up, I really didn't know about too many parks. I knew about Rancho and I knew about Baldwin Hills Park, and I just heard through kids going to different schools, like, yeah, Rancho is where all the best players play. And then my dad expressed to me that if you're going to be competitive in any type of sport right now, like Rancho was where it was at. I would play Pop Warner football at Baldwin Hills Park, and then we play our home games here at Rancho, and then just transition to the basketball side of things, and it was just, you know, I think it was just a group of kids. I don't know what it was, but my dad used to always say, like, oh, this is a special group from, I guess, about 6 or 7 when everybody would start, and just his perspective looking in on us was just like we were like a golden age of kids coming up, always sticking together. We was competitive, respectful. We would everything that we were doing off the court we would do together, like barbecues, go to each other's houses, playing outside. We would get in trouble for playing before our game, get in trouble for not watching our older brothers play or something like that. And I don't know, I just believe that just at a young age, the group of guys and then the coaching staff that was here with us just drove everybody to be better than take their games to another level. And it was always maybe maybe to do more, you're not doing it good enough, and just being more disciplined. It was just everything, all that foundation started here. The 1998 championship team was very special. Like I said before, just the guys it was just a great group of guys. I remember Martin Henderson, his dad was helping us out. Darren Morris had an influence on us. He was a great role model for all of us. It was fundamentals being taught and structure. And that's why I felt that the advantage that we had on other teams, like I feel like we had a real game plan coming into every game at a young age, and guys followed it. Jeremiah Johnson, who I also went to high school with, he was an amazing athlete. As you know, he's still playing pro football as of now. Marquise Dubose was an amazing athlete. And then also we were like the same height, most of us, so it was always a competition. Me, Marquise, Hanif, Calvester, we always at the time the same height, so we was always used to battle, push each other. Another great athlete was Marlon Yates. He was like a dual sport athlete coming into high school, and it was just a great group. It was just unbelievable to have that much talent on one team, and then also the guys on the team weren't like terrible bad kids. We just run around, help each other out, and we just a great group of guys. Also, I remember Delton Prescott. We played against him maybe the year before or something, and he was at Van Ness Park, and then he came and joined us on the '98 team. And then it was just like Rancho Park was the place to be. Like your son or daughter wasn't not quote unquote good enough, or you had to prove themselves in the city by coming to this park and playing against this type of competition day in, day out. One thing also that I feel helped me grow and mature into an adult was we had the same coaches who knew us, who knew how to push our buttons to make us strive to play better. Coaches that we would go against other coaches that had maybe their main guy or something like that. Because growing up back in those days, it was like the Jordan Bulls. Let's say Barkley with the Suns or Hakeem with the Rockets. So you had that one franchise guy with that one particular team. So my mentality at the time was I'm gonna stick with who I started with. So I remember I started maybe my first couple of years I was with Dave Williams, and we was the Michigan Wolverines, and we got our butts kicked my first year playing here. But my dad, well, actually maybe the Sacramento Kings, one of the two. But my dad used to always tell me, like, man, you just keep your head down, focus. Brighter days will come. We gotta work harder because you're not the best. Dave Williams and Marlon Yates was on my team a couple years. His dad used to help us out. Moving up into majors, I started playing for you, Coach Kirk. And honestly, I think that was it. Just you and Dave, but also I remember other coaches, Coach Mike, Coach Johnny. I would vividly remember that they would have their guys and say that they was going to beat us and all this other stuff. And so it'll be good competition. At a young age, start talking trash a little bit between the players and the coaches. So it would just be all fun. We left it on the court, and after we hang out like nothing happened. So that was very a unique situation growing up at this time. Just pulling up to the parking lot. Get there 30 minutes before your game. So walking through the double doors, you could smell the popcorn and you could smell the nachos being made, come out of the snack bar. Just walking outside, you have the little steps the kids used to play on. Sometimes the coaches would have their players sitting out there before the game, and then just hopping out the car, you just knew it was business. Even though the stands aren't big in here, but just know them 3 rows of stands are gonna be packed all day, no matter what time you're playing, especially for if it's like a 1 versus 2 matchup, undefeated season on the line. You just knew you had to come in here and play because, like I said, like Coach Mike, Coach Johnny, they would talk trash and stuff, saying they would beat us or be one of the teams that knock us off. And the mentality at the young age was just handle business, get in, get out, respect your opponent, but go for the next. We picked up such a good reputation in the Southern California area. My first time on a plane, we traveled to Orlando, and then that just opened my mind up tremendously. And playing out there, we came in 4th, I believe, 4th or 3rd, but I just remember we played against Anthony Mason Jr.'s son. And then he was just a big time player from out of Memphis, and they were just talking about NBA player's son and all this. And we ended up losing to them in the semis or whatever. And Anthony Mason Jr.'s son hit the game-winning shot for them. And then fast forward to I'm playing for the Miami Heat summer league team, and then he's on the team also. And I just shared that story with him. But he remembered the tournament, but he didn't remember exactly that play. And I just remember how it just stuck with me for 2015, however long, how many years or whatever. And it's just crazy how basketball just it comes full circle. I've been here through the years, but just sometimes I try to come here at least once a summer to get some work in, just to remember the good times where basketball wasn't about money or politics and everything, and it all started here. It's just a great foundation that started here. High school was fun. It was a great time. I used to always go to the games. My dad coached Dorsey High School, Kevin Gibson, in my opinion, a legendary coach around the city. And I just remember going to the games as a young kid and just wanting to be out there on the floor with the guys, and then going to the practices when I wouldn't have school, and just hanging with the guys, wanting to be one of them, be on the team, wanting to be older, couldn't wait till I get to high school and everything. And once I got to high school, I also played football, so I was pretty good at football, so I had to make a decision. Freshman year, my dad told me I could play both. He just told me it would come a time where you have to pick one. Either one I wanted to choose was up to me. And first year was good, pretty good. Played JV my first year. Also JV football. We had a good football team. Coming in the next year, played varsity basketball and played JV football once again, but got moved up to varsity. But after that season of moving up to varsity football, I just felt like basketball was more my calling in the long term. I love playing football, but I just didn't see myself. The most thing I tell people is just I didn't see myself lifting weights like that and just running around and all that. Football was just a little bit. It got a little bit too much for me, for my body size. I wasn't like the biggest guy. So, you know, had a good sophomore year, basketball-wise. I think I just really took a big step from my sophomore summer to my junior year. We had a great team. Played one season. My sophomore year, I played with my brother. That was special for me, just to be able to play on this team. Somebody I looked up to as a man, as a role model, perfect representation of who you should follow as in terms of working hard, in the books. He laid a great example for me growing up. So just watching him just helped me figure out my way through high school and everything, and also college. Just watching him go through the whole process. So junior year, we had a good year. Had a couple of tournaments out of Los Angeles, one in San Diego, one in Vegas, where we played pretty well as a team. Unfortunately lost in the semis to Taft, who had Jordan Farmar, Matt Cook, and a couple other players. But it was a great time. Good. We had a great team. Jonathan Hurd, Dwayne Cotton, Jonathan Post, Marquise was on the team. Marquise Dubose was also on the team. So you know, high school was great. Then rolling into my senior year, I was committed to Southern Methodist University, SMU in Dallas, and at the time I was just having a hell of a year. I just feel like everything came, like I grew into somewhat of a bigger body. My coordination became more fluid, able to jump, started dunking. So I think everything came around and at the right time my senior year, and then I just felt like, yeah, basketball is my calling. I make the right decision, and I feel like I could play professional. So yeah, up until that time, basketball was, I didn't really know if I could, you know, take it as far as I have so far, but that junior to senior year transition just gave me more and more confidence, and then that senior basketball season gave me all the confidence just to take basketball as long as I can.